Deshpande, the moving spirit behind this conference, ministers of the state government, leaders of the industry, Your Excellencies, officials, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to be in this great city and this great state. Not only has this city been blessed with one of the best weathers in the country, it's also been blessed with a natural instinct of people in and around it who've learned the art of learning and innovating. And really it is that art of innovation which has kept this state on the center stage of India's economic growth. We, the ministers of the Union Council of Ministers, are here in order to support this great state in every effort that it makes for its economic advancement and to further grow. Because under our constitutional and political scheme, governance of this country is a shared sovereignty between the center and the states. Both of us have a parallel mandate to rule. Our areas of jurisdiction are clearly demarcated and defined. But the ultimate object of that shared sovereignty is that how do we enable and empower the people of India? How do we make India grow and grow faster? And how do we make sure that rates of poverty in this country get depleted at the very fast? At the end of the day, there is no other cure for depletion of poverty and its final elimination other than making India grow. It's only when India grows faster that we are going to pull out a large number of people out of the poverty levels, and at the same time, governments are going to be empowered with resources in order to service the poor and enable them to come out of that economic status. We've had an experience this year, and it's a very pleasant experience, of visiting several states in India where such global investor meets are being organized. I have been repeating ad nauseum at every of these global meets something which I had said about a year and a half ago when the new government at center had taken over, that it was usually felt that India is a case of cooperative federalism. India is a case where center and the states have to compete with each other, then cooperate with each other in order to make that cooperative federalism brings out a model of economic governance in the country. But in a challenging world, we have also become a country where there is now competitive federalism. Each one of the states in India is now competing with another state in order to make sure that it can attract investment. Of course, there are some states and regions which are geographically disadvantaged. And it becomes our duty at the center to come to the aid and help of those regions. But all other regions are now actively competing with each other in order to woo and attract attention, investment. This, I think, is one of the most positive signals which has come about in this country. And merely the fact that a given state organizes a meet itself is not going to bring about investment. Investors are also very competent people. They analyze the comparative advantages and then decide which is the destination of their investment. And states which have a consistent track record of a stable administration, a good governance, clean administration, stable politics, stable policies, easy availability of land, easy availability of natural resources, easier prospects of doing business in those states. I think it is those states which will then become the primary destinations as far as the investment is concerned. Today, in the global situation, India is being distinctively noticed. It is being noticed for the reason that even in the midst of global slowdown, India has comparatively stood out. In fact, if we look at the history of 2001, then 2008, and finally 2015, we can take some element of satisfaction in the fact that amidst all three crises, India did display a considerable amount of resilience in as much as we survived those three crises. Today, probably, the world faces a very difficult and a challenging situation. There is unpredictability, there is volatility, and there is an inability to understand and fully analyze, when we look down the tunnel over the next 2 to 3 years, which way the world is going to move. Unpredictability and volatility have become the new global norm. In these circumstances, it's extremely important for India to emerge out of this crisis even stronger. We are relatively unimpacted by some of the factors which have caused the global crisis. So lower prices of oil, metals, commodities substantially suits us. It indirectly impacts on us because it shrinks our exports. It makes our markets more volatile. It makes our currency more volatile. But compared to the rest of the world, we are still on a much higher and a stabler footing. Nobody could have expected China to grow indefinitely at a double-digit growth rate. And therefore, the Chinese have also lowered their new normal. Their slowdown itself doesn't directly impact us except for those indirect consequences that I mentioned.